And there it is. We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, first of all, thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk today about the future of this podcast and where we're going and what's going to be going on. So tune in if you care to find out.
The Insurance Bro Show is a podcast for agents who want to grow their agency and be titans of the insurance industry. Learn from a panel of experts who share their agency struggles, their experiences with the nation's best carriers, and share the marketing secrets that successful insurance agents are using today. Now, here's your host, the Insurance Bro, James Cias.
Boom, there it is. All right. All you insurance pros out there, we're going to dive into another fun episode. But before we do, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded insurance agents find value from our awesome guests, which are coming as we rise up in the podcast rankings. I will really, really appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, there's going to be some new rules. But I would love to have you on and learn from you as well. Go to www.insurancebroshow.com/guest, schedule your time slot. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media at Insurance Bro Show. So,
and all this is new to me too. I don't even know what's going on here.
Yeah, this is all going to be a surprise to you.
Did you have an apostrophe? Like lightning has struck your brain?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's not something that just happened like overnight. I think last night, I'm taking that out of my vocabulary. By the way, I don't know if I told you this, but things like I think, kinda, maybe, should. Those are words and vocabulary that I'm taking out in 2020.
Definitiveness, decisiveness,
more decisive. So last night I had my junto meeting, my mastermind group, and I was telling them just about how I've been feeling about this podcast lately, which is honestly burnt out, right? It's been a lot. First of all, we're doing 2 daily podcasts, right? And then this one, me being the face of it, me being, the lead of it, I'm not you. I try so hard. Paul, Happy New Year, my friend. Thanks for jumping in. I try so hard to emulate you a lot of times. I look up to you. You're my big bro, and you are phenomenal at what you do in the business world. Those 7 years, 7 months, and 21 days that I was on the East Coast, wearing that uniform and saluting that flag, you spent that time here at home building a building the foundation of our businesses today. You are like so much of what I aspire to be, but when it comes right down to it, dude, I'm not you.
It's fair, dude. Fair.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Dude,
ain't nothing like you except you.
I get that. And after yesterday's discussion where, I was like, dude, this is your strong suit. This is where your strengths lie. Then you went to junto after that.
Then I went to junto after that. And the fact is, I haven't had guests on the show for quite some time. One of the ways that I was getting guests on the show was with Connected, which is that LinkedIn service that we've been using. And then we switched it up and we started kind of going after lenders, which really hasn't been great either. Like I haven't spent enough time looking at that thing and fixing that up. So, lots of things to work on that side of things. But, when I was going after those guests, when I was getting guests, like, the fact is, like, I'm not crazy passionate about doing this on a daily basis. I love what I do. I love the business that I'm building. I love the way that insurance can help people, especially, even though I'm less experienced in life insurance, especially life insurance. Like that's the one that I believe in the most. I mean, all insurances are necessary and all insurances protect people in different ways, but life insurance is that one that, creates that generational wealth. And like, that's the one I want to be passionate about, even though I don't spend enough time doing that stuff either. Like I'm just being an agent, being an insurance agent is something that I want to empower my team to do less than I want to do myself.
Makes sense.
right? So all of these different things, and I'm like, I'm pushing myself to be like you, to go out into the insurance Facebook groups and networking groups and all these things, and to go after all these guests and try to get, you know, guests
Be a
on the
face.
show you know, every single day. And it's like it's a push, man. It's something that is unnatural and uncomfortable for me, but it's to a point where you know what, man, that's not my strength. And
It's
I just
funny.
need to
You
accept
know,
that.
today we were talking about on Clubhouse about pod fading, right? About people going into a podcast and starting something and then kind of struggling with it.
Mhm.
So and you know, getting burnt out on that sort of stuff. And it happens, dude. It happens. So I guess my question to you is it because would you do it if you had guests lined up versus is it the doing of the show on a regular basis that's burning, or is it the recruitment part that's burning?
Kind of both. I definitely don't want to do that extra work on the insurance side, right? Like there's an effort. There is a legitimate effort that needs to be made to create those networks, to create those connections, you know, in those groups in order to get people on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I'm not super passionate about. Right. So that's definitely a part of it. And then when it comes to actually being on the show, I mean, I can talk to people. That's not a problem, but you know what? And if they were lined up, I would do it. You know, there's nothing that's difficult about getting other people's stories. But one of the things that I think, one of the changes that I want to make is, you know, we talk about leading with value.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes right down to it, if I'm talking to someone who is brand new in the industry or doesn't have a lot of experience or whatever, I don't necessarily feel like I'm bringing a lot of value to the audience in that sense.
Fair.
Right.
Fair.
So so what I'm thinking and the direction that I'm going, I should say, not I'm thinking, the direction that I'm going is I want to bring experts. So I might not be doing a daily show anymore, or at least not a daily insurance show anymore. Now, there is an area of my life where I am much more passionate, where I am much more interested, and which I think is a much more underserved community.
Oh, are you talking about birds?
No, although that would be cool too. Yeah, no, I'm way no, I'm not ready for that one. The polyamorous community. So one of the things, there are, you know, a good number of polyamorous podcasts out there. You know, there's Multiamory, and you know that's like the big one that I know of. But there's a whole bunch of them, and what I have started to recognize as a pattern is that the majority of them are just the hosts talking about lessons that they've learned, research that they've done, you know, teaching from their own perspective, which is cool. It's great. And especially a show like Multiamory, like they're ridiculously good at the like quality of the research that they do. It's insane. It's really, really good. Paul's telling me doing a podcast on the daily, huge commitment, especially when you have a business to run, work to do. It's damn near impossible to tune in on the daily. I appreciate that, Paul. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it is a huge time commitment, but it's not the time commitment that's breaking me. It's really the content. Like, I want to bring valuable content. And I think if I interview like experts, that I'll have much more valuable content to bring.
So are you thinking of like meshing the two?
No, I think I'm going to start a whole new podcast. It's going to be, and I'm still brainstorming names right now. It's, you know, it's basically going to be reaching out to people in the polyamory community who, whether they are out in public or not. So we might have some shows where the other screen is dark, right? And there's a fake name underneath, and all we hear is a voice, but they are real stories from the polyamorous community. And that's, I think, the big difference between most of the polyamorous podcasts that are out there right now, which is just the hosts speaking from their vantage point, from their perspective, teaching lessons that they've learned from the research that they've done, as opposed to bringing real stories to the forefront.
You know, and here's the thing about podcasting, building a name for yourself and committing to a cause that you want to do. You know, when you decide to go into this specific topic, right? You're gonna do it because you love to do it. You're going to get people on your show. You're gonna have more passion. It's gonna be a good time. But it doesn't break away from your overall identity. I think it actually enriches your overall identity. Like your story of what you're doing on a regular basis, the company you run, the people that you interview. I mean, I like the fact that you're going to be doing the two. So I think the time commitment is still going to be there, right? Yep. You're still probably going to have the same time slot. It's just what show is going to go on at what time. And that's kind of a cool thing, you know, like that's kind of, you know, a mix of, and it's funny that you say that because, you know, when I do the Business Bros show, we really started with the real estate stuff at first. It was very much real estate heavy because we were like, oh, we're
lenders and agents and escrow people, title people. Yeah.
But that got dry for me too, right? There's only like so many stories I can tell about a house.
Right.
So we, you know, once I opened it up and I realized, look, this is my space. This is what I like to do. And that, you know, we talked about that today.
You had like 7 different certifications and degrees and licenses.
And that's cool, right? And everybody in every industry, that's why we opened it up. I was like, look, it's just business, bro. Like, that's it. Like, if you're in business, then you can be on the show. And I like the mix of the bit. And if you can find a way to even like kind of make it your show where it's like where your identity is part of who you are, but at the same time this is my professional and my personal identity, and how does one navigate through that life. Like if you do something like that, now you're building an audience of people that really connect with you on your personal life, but also know what you do in your professional life.
Pretty much exactly. And why not? Right? I mean, you have talked about it multiple times when you are coaching people in starting their own podcast, right? When you coach people into starting their own podcast, you're like, well, if you're a real estate agent, don't just start a real estate podcast. Like nobody cares about that. How much, like you just said, how many times can you talk about where the market is and what interest rates are looking like and, you know, whatever, like talk about that thing that you're passionate. Are you a baker also? Make a baking podcast and just happen to mention that you're a real estate agent also.
Yeah. You're the insurance bro. Like that is that I think is your brand, right? That's your
100%. So, you know, I'm telling, you know, both of my partners about this idea, and, you know, one of them is asking about my logo. Like, are you going to come up with a new logo? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you know what? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to keep the same Yui.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my Yui. Like that's me. That's my dude. That's my guy. So he's going to stay on there, and that is going to continue to be my brand. However, there is going to be one change, minor change to the Insurance Bro Show as well.
Okay.
It's no longer going to be the Insurance Bro Show. It's going to be the Insurance Pro Show. Definitely making that change. And, you know, you and I are the business bros together, right? Mm-hmm. And between the two of us, I am the insurance bro. So, like, the insurance bro is still me, right? But the show is not me. The show is the Insurance Pro Show. And that comes from, you know, first of all, the saturation of masculine names of insurance podcasts. No offense to these gentlemen. They're awesome. Their podcasts are amazing. They're very knowledgeable. They put out a lot of great content, but you've got the insurance dudes, you've got the insurance guys, and now to like throw out the insurance bro, come on, man, it's too much. So the Insurance Pro show,
Damn socialist, man.
whatever, man, whatever.
You know, it's funny. You're going with the insurance
and
pro.
inclusive.
Yeah, you're going with the insurance pro, and me on the other side. I'm thinking I'm like gonna double down on the bro, and and it's funny because I was having this discussion with Matt the other day, and we were talking in demographics, or whatever, and he was making a case to you should be focusing your attention on the bros, and it's not that you're excluding the ladies, but that's your thing. Like you are the bro, like, and if you connect with a bunch of guys, like think about what your end game is, right? Because he was asking me, what's the whole point? The whole point is to do business with more people, right? It's to build those relationships, do business with more people. So he's like, do you care if the business comes from, he's talking anatomically correct, right? From this plumbing or this plumbing? Do you care? And I'm like, the truth is, I don't, right?
Oh, of course.
And it's funny because growing up, I was in sports and I hung out with girls that were totally dude-like, even to this day. Like, they're still my bros, even though they're girls, whatever. Like I don't put weight on it. Like that.
Bro to you is not a gender-specific term.
Yeah, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care.
And I mean, I remember my sister from another mister over there in Richmond, Brianna, and Vanessa, both, like, we went over there. We went to Chicago to visit them once, and like we were out there just, shooting the shit, having fun, and she says something, she's like, whatever, bro. And like they had this thing going, just calling me bro the whole time, and like it was just so annoying. I was like, ew, like it's just such a like gross term coming from them in that sense. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter where the business comes from. Like we are here for a reason. That reason is to gain credibility. That reason is to put our name out there, to to generate business. Like we're here to lead generate.
Mm-hmm.
That's the purpose. That's the whole purpose of the shows that we're doing is, growing networks. It's, building, like you always say, the best prospecting tool. So we go out and we talk to people and we meet people and we just have fun with it.
So have you decided on like when each show is going to be airing? Like, are you going to do like Monday, Tuesdays you're going to dedicate? Because now it becomes a logistical thing. So one of the things we were talking about with on Clubhouse this morning was like, whatever you commit to, like if you're going to commit to doing a podcast and you're going to commit to doing it once a week, twice a month, whatever it is, you pick the days on your calendar and you make them happen. And I know you, and you live and die by your calendar just like I do. So what goes on your calendar is what's going to happen. So have you decided, like, are you going to keep the same time starts of the 2:30 time slot, but it's going to be, 2 days a week this, 3 days a week that, or have you decided?
Yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about it. I haven't necessarily decided yet. But the direction that I'm heading is actually 4 days a week. I'm going to give myself Fridays off. And I'm just going to do 2 days on, a polyam podcast, 2 days insurance podcast. And again, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be looking more for experts. Right. I think I don't want to, interview people that are newer to the business. And, I mean, I don't know what my threshold is yet. Like this is still in the making, but in the next 30 days, like by February 1st, there's going to be that shift. So the Insurance Bro show is going to be changed to the Insurance Pro show. The interviews that I'm going to get are going to be more from experts as opposed to just anybody who wants the spotlight. And on top of that, it's going to be, a couple of days a week of this and a couple of days a week on that. And I'm going to use January to start building that up, to start building up the the calendar. I mean, I still have an interview scheduled for tomorrow. I have another interview scheduled for next week. I'm still going to, look for interviewees even through this month, but I'm going to make that change.
So when you started, you were like, one of the biggest struggles was doing the prospecting, because dude, it's a full-time job. Like it took when we first started the podcast and we started looking for guests, dude, I would spend hours on social media commenting and talking to people. And now, now on the Business Bros, like I do very little of that. They're just coming in now. Right. But at the beginning, it was very much, I had to throw a lot of lines in the water to make sure that it happened. So you're still going to have to do that. Now you're just going to have to fish in two communities, though.
Yeah. The one community, though, I'm in it all the time anyway. Like that's where I want to be. So that one's going to flow much more naturally. The other one where I have to effort, I'm more likely to do so because now it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And you know what? I'm going to shoot for 2 days a week on the insurance side, but I'm only going to do insurance shows when I have interviews. I'm not going to do just like you and I talking is cool, but like what we've been talking about today is nothing to do with insurance necessarily. It's just me.
True.
Right? It's just us. It's just, doing what
brother.
we do. Right. But I want to make it an interview show, and I want to do it exclusively for interviews. Unless there's really something that like I have to bring to the table, then maybe I'll go ahead and do that. If there's like a major lesson that I've learned, whatever, and I want to talk about it, then I can do that. But otherwise, doing things like pulling articles from the internet that we've done in the past, like those were cool, but they got pretty stale pretty quickly too. So,
I like those episodes. I tend to like the ones that have the bullet points, because then it's like now it's like a guided discussion. You know what I mean? I actually have fun with those. My poly life. I was like,
something along those lines. I'm thinking polyamory IRL.
What? I don't know what that is. In real life.
IRL.
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to learn these acronyms, dude.
Come on, man. You're only 15 months older than me.
Yeah, but I don't use them. I actually would spell it out.
So that's kind of where my brain is right now, is on that name. I was also thinking something simple like Polyampod. Those two are like at the top of my list. Any brainstorming that you want to do with that, that's cool. What did you say? My polyam life?
My poly life.
Yep. Can't use poly though. It's got to be polyam.
Polyam.
Yeah.
What's the difference? I mean, obviously I shortened
poly.
it.
Yeah, poly, and a lot of people have used that in the past, and it's something that's starting to like. We are starting to shift. Poly is what Polynesian people use as their term, and so we don't want to take that away from the culture. We want to do something new. Do something different.
Everybody's about this whole political correctness, man.
Yes, absolutely. Maya Angelou said it best. She said, I do my best until I know better, and then I do better. Something along those lines.
So I agree with that statement. It just depends on what is the better that you're talking about. I don't know. I don't have anything against choosing one way or another. I just, sometimes it's like, well, that wasn't important enough for me to remember.
But these are the things that you'll be able to learn from the show, because our people, I'm going to say our people, I'm going to generalize usually,
people,
right? Our people, we're very aware of these things. Like, there's a lot of discussion within our community about, about exactly that, the political correctness, if you want to call it, or, culture sensitivity, cultural appropriation, like all of these different things. Like, if you go into a polyam community, you're going to see a lot of liberal, leftist, socialist, BLM, rainbow flags, like all of this stuff. You're going to see that hardcore.
Right, I know I'm taking a left turn here, but my thing is, when I go into groups like that, I don't see that. I see people. right? And that's to me that's one of the things. Like I don't care to learn labels and names and all this. Dude, I see you as a person, and when we have a conversation and you're a cool ass person, then that's it. Like that was the extent of what I need to know. Everything else is like, dude, that's too much information for me to like to bog down. I don't want to classify people as groups. Like I don't even like to do some of the
you do,
ones, like
you
Republicans and
do.
Democrats.
You're the one that's always like stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, and we use stereotypes for
marketing,
marketing and all this stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's grouping people.
Yeah, but that's grouping people for a profit-ended purpose. I don't do that I don't walk into a room and be like, yo, all you people on this side because you're getting a certain type of drink, all you people on this side because you're getting I don't do that in real life. I do that as in the professional sense in marketing, because a specific type of stereotype will receive a message specifically in a certain way. Like if I was targeting polyamorous people, right? Then I would definitely want to target my marketing in a different light. But if I walked into a group, into a bar in a polyamorous bar, I'm not going to walk in and just, that's like walking into a gay bar and then just automatically trying to, I've done that before. And the first time I ever walked into a gay bar, it was awkward because I looked at everybody differently until I realized that people are just people. Then it didn't matter what type of bar it was because they're just people.
Yep. No, and also same. And it wasn't that long ago for me that I walked into Number One up in Hillcrest for the very first time for a karaoke night. And, I had been invited by a few friends, but I got there before they did. And I remember standing there kind of uncomfortably looking around, and definitely being checked out. And like, it took me a second to get used to that. But, by the end of the night, I was, hugging all my friends and just laughing. And like, people are just people, exactly like you say. People are, we're all human, and we all have, generally the same wants and desires and needs. And, no, there's a lot of strife and division and so many things out there right now. I mean, the news today is just blowing up with more of that. But when it comes right down to it, man, most people are mostly good. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we all just want the same basic things.
Can we all just get along?
This all is going to blow over, hopefully very soon. And, the world can start spinning somewhat normally again.
Stop spinning.
Somewhat normally again. The world, I mean, that hadn't stopped spinning, but it kind of stopped spinning.
What?
Not physically, just,
It only happens when you acknowledge that it happens, right? And I'm
talking about those pictures from 2020 with New York City and empty streets.
Oh no. Oh, actually,
that's what I'm talking about.
I saw something that was pretty interesting. They're like, I don't want to scare anybody, but what's the name of that movie? I forgot. The Will Smith movie. Yeah, I Am Legend. Yeah, I Am Legend was based in 2021 after a failed vaccine.
No way.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Hang on a second. Oh, that's crazy.
So yeah, I don't want to freak anybody out or nothing, but that's what's going on.
That's coming. All right. Well, good to know. Good to know. But anyway, so that's the future of this podcast. You won't necessarily see less of me. Okay, maybe one day less of me, because you know what? I'm gonna take Fridays off. I don't know if you're gonna do that on the Business Bros Pod, and if you're not, that's cool. I'm gonna be there with you at 4:00. But 2:30, I'm taking Fridays off. It's gonna be 4 days a week, and the goal is 2 days polyamory, 2 days insurance.
Me likey.
So that's what's coming. And going forward, I will continue to go after interviews. I will continue to make my calendar available for interviews. But it's going to be an interview-based show. and I'm going to be talking to experts in specific areas.
Boom.
So bringing value.
Mic drop. I want to
How about
actually
a
drop
bump?
because they're kind of expensive.
Yeah, no. Just make the sound.
There you go.
Did it work? I couldn't hear yours.
Can you hear it?
Barely.
That's
That's
it. That's all it's got.
Anyway, that's it. That's all you got.
Punch the mic.
So there we go. That's what we got going on. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate every single one of you. You really do have my heart. You really do rock my socks. So you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Insurance Bro Show. James is the CEO of the Pipeline team of San Diego and is always in the market for top talent. If you're an agent looking for a place to hang your license, visit www.pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities or send an email to newagent@pipelineinsurance.com. Look for James